Lesson 2.6, Sales Tax, Tips, and Markups. Sales tax is an additional amount of money charged on items that people buy. The total cost of an item is the regular price plus the sales tax. Okay, so like when we go to the store, we pay a sales tax. We take our item and then we have to pay that additional percent. So there's two different ways we can solve for sales tax. So example A says, what is the total cost of a sweatshirt if the regular price is $42 and the sales tax is 5.5%? So one way we can solve this is we can take our $42 times our percent, and we have to change our percent to a decimal, so this is 5.5%, and again we move our decimal point back twice. Okay, and when we take 42 times 55 thousandths, we get $2.31. So this means we're paying an additional $2.31 for the sweatshirt, but I want to know the total cost. So then we would take 42 plus that $2.31, and we would get $44.31. So we would say the price of this sweatshirt with sales tax is $44.31. Okay, another way we could do this is when we pay for that sweatshirt, we're paying for 100% of it, and then we're paying an additional 5.5%. So we could take our 100% plus our 5.5%, and we are really paying 105.5% for the sweatshirt. Okay, again, we're paying for 100% of it, then we're paying for 5.5% our sales tax. So together we're paying for 105.5%. So then I could take my 42 times 105.5% as a decimal. So I move my decimal point back twice. And when I multiply 42 times 1 and 55 thousandths, I get 44.31. So again, this sweatshirt cost $44.31 with tax. No matter which method you use, you're going to get the same answer. Okay? A tip or gratuity is a small amount of money in return for a service. The total price is the regular price of the service plus the tip. Okay? A store sells items for more than it pays for those items. The amount of increase is called a markup. The selling price is the amount the customer pays for the item. So when we find a tip, gratuity, or markup, that's the same thing as finding tax. We're taking that percent and we're going to take it times our amount, and then we're going to add it back on because we're paying more than what we started with. So if we look at example B, Scott wants to tip his taxi cab driver 20%. If his commute costs $15, what is the total cost? So again, Scott's taking a taxi, it's costing $15, and he's going to tip 20%. So he wants to know what is his total altogether. So again, we can do this one of two different ways. We could take our 15 times our 20% as a decimal, and we would get 3. And then we would add that 3 back onto the 15 to get our total, which would be $18. Or I know that I'm paying for 100% of my taxi cab plus that additional 20%, so I know I'm paying for 120%, so I could take 15 times 120%, and when you multiply those, you get 18. So it's going to cost Scott $18 with his 20% tip. Okay, example C. Find the total cost of a spa treatment of $42, including a 6% tax and a 20% tip. Okay, so again here, I'm paying for that tax and I'm also paying for that tip along with my spa treatment. So if I were to add all my percents together, I have 100% of my spa treatment, plus I'm going to do a 6% tax, plus I'm going to do a 20% tip. So altogether, I'm paying 126% for this service. So again, it cost me $42, so I can take my 42 times my 126% as a decimal, and I would get $52.92. So my spa treatment, along with tax and tip, is going to cost $52.92. Again, our answers are going to be more than what we started with because sales tax, tips, and markups are all more expensive than our original price. Okay, example D. A store pays $150 for a portable basketball backboard, and the markup is 40%. What is the selling price? Okay, so again, at a store, they buy all their products, and then they mark it up to make money off of it. So again, we're going to solve this the same way we did sales tax and tips. I could take my $150 times my 40% as a decimal, and I would get 60. And then I want to know the selling price. So what would the store put on a price tag? So then that $150 they paid, plus they're going to mark it up $60. So they would sell it for $210. Again, we're paying for 100% of that backboard, plus we're marking it up 40%. So we could say we're also paying 140%. So we take 150 times 140% as a decimal, and we would get 210. So again, the store would put a price tag of $210 on this portable basketball hoop. So when you find sales tax, tips, and markups, they're all the same thing. You find how much you're paying of your original price, and then you add it back on. Or you figure out what percent am I paying altogether, take that times your original price, and then that will tell you how much you have to pay. Again, your value should always be greater than what you started with because we're paying more.